Hey everybody, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jesse, and you're watching Disruptive Investing. This is our little show.
Have we gotten a good name for the show yet?
I haven't checked. Be perfectly honest. Haven't had a moment to check.
Yeah, the holiday's been busy, but we're gonna check.
I'll go through
We'll find a good name
next week.
Okay.
We'll have a good
So
name.
one more chance to give us a good name.
Yes, this is your last chance. So this week we're just going to talk about Vinfast.
Yeah.
This is the Vietnamese EV maker coming to America, and they've been doing it very Vinfast.
Yeah, I've been really excited to see a new player enter the U.S. market.
And as you may remember, we reported at the beginning of December that Vinfast was shipping over 999 VF8s, all electric SUVs from Vietnam to the U.S. And as expected, they arrived on December 19th.
So Vinfast is going to open a $2 billion factory in North Carolina in 2024. Vinfast plans an IPO on NASDAQ under the ticker symbol VFS. And that's why we're talking about them, because a lot of people have been asking, is this a good electric car company to invest in? The problem is that when these VF8s left Vietnam, they had an estimated range, according to Vinfast, of 292 miles, about 470 kilometers. But when they arrived in the U.S., they had a range of only 179 miles.
Well, that makes sense. The voyage by ship takes almost 3 weeks, so they lost 100 miles of range during the trip. Due to vampire loss, I don't see the problem.
No. I'm talking about the EPA. They range tested the VF8. I think probably one of them that came off the ship is the one they tested. And they gave it an EPA rated range of only 179 miles. That's 113 miles less range than Vinfast targeted.
Seriously? I mean, how did they get that so wrong? I mean, I know that they use like the WLTP range standard, but still, I don't think we've ever seen a range estimate off by that much before.
So we've been talking a lot on the shows that we do about Vinfast and how it looks like a pretty exciting company. We haven't gotten our hands on the VF8 or 9, and we've been saying that over and over again. Like, you can't really judge a car until you really test it. But I want to know what you guys think, because now that we have the EPA rated range, and we do really rely on it, it's a pretty good range estimate. They do half city driving, half highway driving. Would you buy a VF8? Now, you might be like, well, I don't know what it costs. So the VF8 costs $40,700. The VF9 costs $57,500. Both of those are without the battery. You then subscribe to the battery. The battery is $169 a month for the VF8 and $219 a month for the VF9. So my big question here, if I was going to invest in an IPO for this company, would first be, do they make great products? And I got to say, I'm very concerned that with a range of 179 miles for an SUV, kind of regardless of price, I'll be honest, that's not that great.
So trying to work through this. Now, WLTP is a test. They tested it.
Right.
This isn't just like what they get to claim, right? They tested on the WLTP
but we've
standard.
said over and over how it's just a bogus standard.
It has always been a bogus standard, but it used to be. It usually was that it was about 20 to 30% off.
Right.
Right.
This is way more than that.
Yeah. I mean, it's like 30% off, but I mean, it's like it's a lot.
Is it 30% off?
It's more. It's more than that. It's more. We'll have you figure that out. But it normally was like, okay, they say, and usually the ranges were really high, for WLTP. So we were always like, well, that sounds a little.
A few moments later.
It's 37% off.
Whoosh. So that sucks. I'll be honest. 100 and what are we talking?
79 miles.
179 miles at 100%. Now, I don't know if the batteries are iron phosphate. I don't know if you can charge them up to 100%. If they're LFP, that helps it, because then you can charge up to 100% every day without there being too much of a problem.
Look, I want to go back on what I just said about price. I mean, I guess if the price was cheap enough that, it starts to become more and more attractive.
But 179 miles, I mean, you could buy a Leaf, you could buy a Bolt.
Well, and I just want to talk about our experience. With a Tesla, there's so many superchargers everywhere that you really don't have to worry that much.
Yeah.
These aren't going to get to use superchargers for at least a while.
Yep.
I don't know if they'll be opened up or not, but if you're going to have to use, Electrify America and other charging stations like that, then range is going to be a super big problem for you, unless you've figured out that your situation, you can always plug it in like at home or at work.
I still, though, if somebody came up to me off the street and they're like, Zach and Jesse, I want to buy either a Bolt or a Vinfast VF8, I would probably say the Bolt. They're going to save so much freaking money.
Yeah.
Buying
Well,
the
and
Bolt.
don't forget, in the next couple of months, you can get a Bolt with the full $7,500
That's
tax
what
credit.
I'm saying. So, like at this very moment in time, January 2nd, 2023, I would be saying you should probably get a Bolt. I mean, is the charging as fast? I don't think so on a Bolt. But again, I would just say, as a secondary car or as an around town-ish car, around town plus car, I would say get the Bolt, not the Vinfast.
I'm just also wondering, how do you compete with the Model 3 and the Model Y? Like, I mean, I know it's a tad cheaper, but like,
I don't know.
it's
a
a brand new company. Like, I would be so worried about service.
I know. I don't know how markets work. It's kind of a dumb thing to say on disruptive investing, but I don't understand how people will buy this car. I just don't understand. I don't understand paying an extra $169 a month on top of whatever your loan is going to be.
I think one thing is nationality.
So you think that
There's over 2 million Vietnamese Americans, and I think that actually has a lot to do with this.
okay, I know German people, German expats, and people who are German American. Yes. Are they more likely to buy a BMW? Yes.
And Swedish
But-
people love Volvos. I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's a normal thing. Americans love American cars.
Okay.
Like,
Look. Would I say that a BMW or a Volvo is like if I had to go back to 2010 and to say like are those companies good, make good vehicles? Yes, I would say that back then. Do I say that now? No, because I'm incredibly biased.
look, disclaimer here. We're not financial advisors. When it comes to this IPO, make your own decisions. But my point is this. You're always competing with Tesla. If you're an EV maker, and VinFast is now not doing ICE cars anymore, so they're just an EV maker, you're competing with Tesla. I think with this new news, that makes this even harder for them. I just think this IPO doesn't look that attractive to me.
They could fix it. They could increase the battery size. It's a
Yeah,
possibility.
but then the price is going to go up.
Price is going to go up.
I mean, this rental model, yes, I'm sure for a lot of people it takes a lot of the pressure off, but at the same time, it's reminding you of how much you're paying every month for just the battery.
And the battery isn't that amazing.
No. And I mean, is there some promise of some great battery? Maybe in the future, but I don't know.
Question for Vietnamese Americans.
Comment below, because
and
I
tell
think-
us,
yeah, let
are
us
you
know.
going to buy this because you're very proud of VinFast?
And if you're one of the first people who has a VinFast, please let us know in the comments what you thought of the vehicle.
Yeah.
But right now, I just wanted to bring this to your attention because it will be an IPO coming out probably this year. And I just don't think it's one that I'm going to follow that closely because it's just, how would it possibly compete with Tesla?
And how would it compete with Tesla stock when it's down at this level?
I know, right? We talk about that more over on the Patreon Investor Club. Hope you can join us there and support us. And keep your eye open. We're going to be trying to bring you more stories about EVs, sustainability, and disruptive companies so that you can keep ahead of what's really going on. Because look, the mass media is not going to talk about these stories.
We'll see you next time on
Disruptive Investing.